Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a fun day. I was glad to see volatility back. Kind of wakes you up, right? And gives you something to look forward to. And boy, was it. And so we're going to get into all that right there. We're going to get into stocks that were just sucking the volume up in the market, right? While the other was just selling off and he finally got some red. That's nice. Remember, it's month end. Okay, I told you there's some shenanigans that take place on month end. I don't put a lot into what happens on the very last day of the month or the very last day of a quarter. I'm always like, look what's going on when we hit tomorrow and then Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there. And I've already told you what we're going to be looking for anyway. And so we're going to those stocks as well as we got some earnings tomorrow, as well as we got more data tomorrow. But understand, like, jobs numbers, GDP, all the stuff, this economic data is coming out every day. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. There's nothing to just go, oh, look at this right here. There's just not. I did show you a chart yesterday, which if you want to pay attention to that, okay? Because GDP is not about the health of the economy. It really just has to do with consumption and things like that you're looking for, which is why I showed you that chart yesterday. And the real reason I showed you that chart because President Trump was complaining about that, about President Powell. He was quoting GDP. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to quote something here, show them this. Not that you any good, but show them this right here. But I did want to show you this chart. And this is why I tell you, if you're going to teach your children to be anything when it comes to the market, it is better to teach them to be educated perma bull, not a perma bear, an educated perma bull. Remember the key word in there is educated, not blind perma bull, an educated perma bull. Why? Because just look at this, guys. I mean, I always love to show you stuff like this. I like visuals myself. It's how I learn, but it's just how I like to drive points home. It says right here an average year isn't so average. You always hear about it's 8, 10%, 8% is the average, all that stuff. That's not really true, okay? And let's be real about this. Look, when you look at this, we'll draw some lines on here real quick to show you. But look at the negative months, the one below zero. If you count it up, going back to 1950, it's 17 times we actually ended the year down, okay? So we had a negative year out of 74 years. If you draw a line at 20%, you have more times where the market is up over 20% than you do down at all. I'm talking flat, 5% down, 10% down, whatever it is, okay, for the year. If you draw another line that says the ones above 10%, so not 8%, that are at least 10% or more, again, that right there, if you include 10 all the way up to, I think the top is 40 in one year, ain't that an amazing year? It heavily outweighs the negative years. And then, of course, you just see all the, 0 to 8% years, right? And this is why Tom Lee figured out the system, which I'm just going to be a perma bull. And by the way, if you want to know why your grandparents had all the money, look at what was going on from like the 70s up all the way to 2000. Look at that one. Holy moly. I mean, you were killing it if you were in the market right there. There was hardly any big drawdowns. And look at all the ones that are over 20%. That's amazing time right there. I mean, it looks a lot different than what we've seen, right? And yesterday I made a statement, and I guess people are like, you're crazy and insane. That's never going to happen. But remember, I always tell you guys, if you want to teach your kids anything, say all the market is liquidity, above and below. It'll use an excuse, not have an excuse, whatever it is. But when it wants it, it's going to get it, okay? So I made this statement yesterday. I said, wow, I hope this happens tomorrow because it'll make for a great setup. And this is what I said, and this is what happened. And so I want to see if we come up down overnight and try to retrace back down into this before, if the plan is to move up tomorrow. And again, it's end of month, so you see some kind of weird stuff going on. But if it tries to retrace back down to a discount window, mitigate some of this liquidity has been left behind right here once all the earnings calls are done and everything just kind of settles out and everything. That's what I want to see what happens there, or if that happens and we get along off that. And you can see, I mean, I was sitting here waiting very patiently because what happened was we gapped way up. We kept going up and going up pre-market at nighttime. So I had to redraw the fibs from the top to the same bottom, which I did for you guys right there, and I kept that zone in place, and man, I mean, it was just hitting the fibs like clock on the way down to the penny. And of course, my confluence is we got a level, we got this inverted fair value gap, imbalances, and we got the golden pocket, which you get major bounces from, and boom. And what was my target? Because all I cared about was a swing trade here, was to come up to the next 15-minute fair value gap. Those imbalances are where they go, and it's not just the imbalance. Look to the left. There are levels there. See the wicks on those candles? And so I said, oh, that'd be good, to do. And if I drew fibs up, you would actually see what happened was it came up to what? The golden pocket again, and it stopped in its tracks. It mitigated that imbalance. That's where the golden pocket was. and it sold down the rest of the day. Okay, and so that's why I put that in there. But yeah, that's an amazing turn of events. It doesn't always happen. I get it, but it sets up because the risk reward is so great at that moment, and you load up heavy in those kind of instances that all it takes is that one trade, which took me about 15 minutes, I guess, and that's it. You can go on your day because, you know, right now, I mean, I'm heading to South Florida, right? So I was packing up, getting us ready to go. And once that happened, I said, good, I'm good for the day. Whatever else happens, great. All right. Now, let me know how many of you guys are in the FIG IPO. Obviously, I think it started off selling at 2025 originally, and went to 33, and it's up some crazy amount, right? It's a very low float stock. No surprise. Won't be surprised if, you know, if we even get a drop down, if it starts running even more. Congrats to whoever's in it. Let me know how high you think it can go and what your game plan is for that one. Obviously, Microsoft, huge move up. Like I was telling members, you clearly see the winners of AI, right? The companies that's actually been able to generate not only revenue, but cut their costs, their employee costs by using AI. And it's Microsoft, Meta, NVIDIA, AMD, Taiwan Semiconductors. I believe it was Oracle somebody told me about. I think it's Oracle. Somebody put in the comments. And then, of course, Avgo, right? And so these stocks, and then, of course, GV is a utility play, right, on the AI and everything. But, I mean, those are clearly sucking up so much volume right now. You can see where the fib level's at on this one. Big gap below if it decides to come back down. Obviously, a lot of profit taken at that level. As we come in, you know, month in, start a new month, all that fun stuff. And so we'll draw this right here. It's trend lines. That's what it was bouncing off of. So if it does come down, that'd be a great confluence level for it to bounce if we're going to continue to grind in August. Before we hit September, again, I know people count that out. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen. August, September are all over the place. Look at last August. Okay, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so for some of these stocks, that is. And so we'll see if that's going to be the case right now, because these are, you know, you got these stocks that have a lot of strength to them. And money's like, where do we go? These other companies aren't showing they can produce with AI, like Apple right now. We'll see what happens on earnings. Okay, Amazon does a lot of robots, but again, it's another one where it's not hitting it like Microsoft or Meta or any of the rest of these. So we'll see what the market thinks and what they have to say as far as investment. Meta, same thing, new all-time high on this one, just like Microsoft. Huge gap left behind, big explosive move up right here. And really, it's a perfect move because it was sitting right there on the 50 moving average. So this is one of the few stocks where you've actually seen a high flyer like this actually get a 50 retest, which is nice to see. I mean, most of the semiconductors hadn't sniffed a 50 in quite a while right here. And again, it doesn't have to fill this gap because in the last earnings in May, it gapped up. We never filled it, right? The only way those get filled is a 50 right there is on crashes, right? Now, this one, of course, is right below it. So if the market shows weakness, you know, we'll start seeing these come down. But these will be on everybody's list to buy because it's clear the market is saying, sending a message saying, I mean, so far these are your winners when it comes to AI. That's just the way it is, okay? And they actually generate revenue. They can lay people off and replace them with some kind of software or some kind of AI robot or whatever it is, right? Roblox, my goodness. This one right here, I told you, watch out. What's strange, it hadn't set a new all-time high yet. Most of these stocks have. Well, there it is. And as soon as it eclipsed that new all-time high, immediately sold back down, okay? So you do have the gap below. This one, it's actually at my most extended fib. I'm going to have to redo the fibs on this thing. I mean, that thing just, it's unbelievable since the April low. I mean, really unbelievable. And I think I got, yeah, I know for a fact I got this in my son's portfolio like $23 because him and his friends are obsessed with this game. And so we'll see, you know, this is going to hold. We find, because again, in the next couple months, I can't wait to see what happens to some of these stocks. Not Meta or Microsoft, but really these high flying type stocks. Because I really just want to see coming into October where these settle out at. Okay, because the market is going to do some form of a pullback. It's going to happen. It always does. It's going to start going sideways, consolidating a lot of these stocks, and then we hopefully have the move up in November from there. But congrats to whoever's in that one. SPX, you can see, you know, again, I put these in balance here for a reason because that's the draw on liquidity. We hadn't mitigated the whole thing, so we'll see what happens if we get a bounce tomorrow, right? Again, month end, not really going to worry about what one day of movement is, especially on the month end, but we'll put that up here. That is a new all-time high for this thing. All I'm looking to see is that daily fair value gap holds, and we don't break the 20-day moving average. Okay, that's what I'm looking for on this index. You look at IWM, I get a lot of questions about this one. Obviously, it's down today, but it's still in this box, right? Now, it did break the 20 moving average. Now, it did do that. It was bouncing and bouncing off of it. Closed below it today. So if it comes down, that's why I said you don't know if this is going to be, you know, move higher or it's going to be distribution and starts moving down. And so, we'll see what happens. The next level down is going to be 214.60. If that is the case, to watch. I didn't pull the 50 up, sorry about that, but that would be the next level to watch for retest as well. RSP here still is not set a new all-time high. It would be hilarious, I gotta admit, if this was a double top right here, which I don't, do I think that's the case? No, but again, it would be hilarious if that ended up happening. Because remember, you still don't have the Dow, the all-time new high, if I don't believe, the RSP, IWM. I mean, it's been super, like, tech just really pushing things up right now. And so we'll see if we get a lot more spread out over the next week or two, or do we just have some sideways move to down over the next week or two? That's what we gotta still wait and see and find out. That's why I just set the levels. Don't get stressed out about it. See where the liquidity grabs can be. You go over to Tesla. This one's down. People say, hey, is it going to break that trend line? Well, that trend line comes in handy again. There's that trend line right there I put in last night. Got rejected to the penny to open, and then look what's here. Boom. That trend line once again. Same thing happened on earnings, and the same thing happened today. It bounced again. So, can it hold? It's going to be a very good question. That's what we get to see. If it doesn't hold and it does break through it, then yes, we are most likely, I wouldn't even say coming down to that box right there. We already mitigated that imbalance right there. But if it comes and breaks that trend line tomorrow or Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it may be, then you guys start looking lower than that for sure, in my opinion. So, but again, let's see if we get a bounce back up to the trend line and then either kind of like a bull flag above or continue to break down. Once again, if NVIDIA them are rolling, I ain't seen Tesla in forever have a great day when NVIDIA them are rolling. Now, if NVIDIA them take a break, don't forget AMD reports next week, right? So if they start to take a break, then believe it or not, Tesla can get rolling. We've seen it, right? Everybody left for dead after earnings, but it just keeps wedging. If it breaks, look for 300 to hold. If that doesn't hold, here's the 287, 288 area, okay? That'll be your next draw. But right now, I'm waiting to see if it bounces tomorrow and comes up to that trend line. Because I think like the last 5 Fridays, hadn't Tesla been green? Am I mistaken on that? I swear that's the case. I know some people, they literally just buy calls on Tesla to open and just let them go. Like they yellow it. And they've been just killing it. So we'll see if that's the case again. Remember, trends are made to be broken, so we'll see. HIMS, again, we talked about this one. I don't like that candle right there at all, the way it ended. But hit the first target, didn't quite hit the second target. I was telling you, once we come over that 67 area, see if it sells down once it takes that high. And that's what happened. The next target will be 73, which is all-time high to break. But again, I don't really like that candle too much. So might end up seeing if this one comes down, mitigate some of that imbalance right there. They're able to hold that, we'll see, and then come back up. And again, I can't stress enough when it comes to these high flyers right here, because remember, this is flying in the face of everything. I mean, all the healthcare stocks are just getting whacked right now, okay? And this is flying in the face of that. So we're going to see how long it's going to be able to fly in the face of that. So if it does come down, mitigate, expect to bounce at 60.91. Then it's going to break back through 66.78 and then head up to 73 if that's in the cards for HIMS right here. But it has been a nice little breakout move. United Healthcare is the last one here. I know we don't have questions about it. It is approaching, as you can see, that 249.75 level where everybody bought it up in their mother. And so now we're going to get to see if it's going to hold or more buyers going to come in. Plenty of gaps in liquidity above if it gets a bounce, because it is definitely oversold and everything else. But this one, if it breaks that, I mean, usually sometimes what you can see is it'll break the level, suck back up for a little bit, trap more people, and then start heading back down. And so that's what you got to be careful on this one. But I would just wait for market structure. I would wait for market structure to start seeing higher and lows, higher highs in the lower time frames before I would touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. Feel free to do what you want to do, though. Now, when it comes to earnings, you got ExxonMobil, Chevron, then Dominion Energy, and we do have data coming out tomorrow. It's actually a boatload of it. You can see average hourly earnings month over month, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. Let's see if it goes down again. Final manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing prices, revised consumer sentiment, construction spending month over month, and revised university admission inflation expectations. Whew, that is a mouthful. So buckle up for Friday. Let me know how you're playing it and all that good stuff. Please hit that like, subscribe button on your way out. Think about signing up for the membership. Unless the McDonald's combo at $7.99. That's everything you get with it. And I'll see you guys on Saturday.